Hey there, Maple Avenue. This is Mr. Martino, and today we're going to be moving into the Middle Ages. Now, last week we talked about the fall of Rome, and the next age that will come from this is the Middle Ages, very specifically, immediately after it's a period called the Dark Ages. So we have two topics this week. We have our challenge activity, and we have we're going to talk about feudalism, which is the system that arises during the Middle Ages for organization, political um, reasons and for economic reasons as well. Now, our challenge activity comes from it's a quote from Charles um, the Great, or Charlemagne. Now, he gives us a quote, and that quote is right action is better than knowledge, but in order to do what is right, we must know what is right. Before we dive into that quote more specifically, we're going to take a look at what who Charlemagne was and why he was important. So Charlemagne, I have on this slide here, just some information, and this is actually a screenshot from Discovery Ed here. Charlemagne's going to have a centralized government within Western Europe after the fall of Rome. He's also going to be well known for education, and he's going to really have the monasteries within his kingdom educate peasants, nobles, and everyone in between that, which really, as we find out with the feudal system, it's mostly just going to be peasants and nobles. He's also going to make sure that the people who deserve the job based on their merit get the job. So when we speak about merit, we talk about, are they actually qualified to do that job? Not just you're my friend, here's a job, sort of thing. So let's go back to our quote. Right action is better than knowledge, but in order to do what is right, we must know what is right. I think there's two parts of this quote that we need to take a look at. So we see here the words right action and knowledge. I think those are two main ideas of right action and education. Let's talk about right action. So on this slide, you see some words that describe what right action is. These words help explain to us how do you attain right action. So we know right action, it's doing the right thing. Well, it's through ethics, integrity, morals, right? It's through principles, behaviors, justice. We looked at justice a lot in class as well. Even a dictionary can help us understand, or philosophy. Philosophy is like the study of ideas, management. So these are just all words that come back to this idea of right action. So he says, right action is better than knowledge. Okay, so doing the right thing is better than knowing about it. But then he goes on, he says, but in order to do what is right, we must know what is right. This is where education comes in. So through education and learning, we learn the correct ideas. So we have to be taught these things through lessons. We must maybe go to a college or some sort of educational facility, right? We must make sure that we graduate. That shows that we've accomplished our learning, right? Getting a diploma. We have to be a student during this time. So coming back to our quote here, in order to do the right thing, right action, we must know what the right thing is through some sort of schooling, which I think this helps explain why Charlemagne set up so many schools and had everyone be educated despite social class, because he wanted people to do the right thing. And I think him doing that was a right action. So during a very dark period of world history, Charlemagne is going to kind of be a little bit of a light during this darkness. What I want you guys to do next is you're going to go into the discussion board You're going to post your thoughts, post a quote that is similar to right action, doing the right thing. And how do you acquire that? It's through some sort of education. I put an example there so that you guys can follow along. There's also an additional challenge there this week where I want you to comment on somebody else's post and their quote. And there are 3 sort of prompts that can help you come up with a good question or comment to ask that person.